We are back. It's time for more tier slop. Now, what I'm going to be doing today is ranking the Regulation MB Mega Pokemon based off of just how good I think they are. Most of the time when I make these videos, there's a little bit of a disconnect between me and some of the audience. I tend to talk about these Pokemon from a tournament perspective. The tournament that I'm going to be using probably as like my main example today is going to be the St. Jude's tournament because that's like the most recent big one that happened, right? However, I am going to recognize that even though, it is the most recent one, like there are other tournaments that we can take a look at to get some ideas as to the viability of certain Pokemon. But I do think that this being such a large tournament with a lot of really great players was probably a good benchmark for determining the current viability of these Pokemon. Of course, I'm going to throw in some of my own personal opinion, some like hard callouts for future stuff, and then some just nuanced takes as to whether or not a Pokemon might be good in tournament, but like bad on ladder. Not good in tournament, bad on ladder. But usually there are some Pokemon that are like pretty okay on ladder, but bad in tournaments. This is mostly gonna be from a tournament perspective. Sorry for everyone who was like, "Oh, but Mega Manectric, greatest best of one Pokemon of all time." Sorry, yeah, sorry. Unfortunately, this is gonna be mostly a tournament viability kind of thing. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. We're just gonna begin. And also, usually I only do like 4 tiers, right? A, B, C, D, and maybe F. And I kind of just structure it with like, the top being you can use it in every game and win, bring it to like every game, and then like the middle of it is like, you could get away with it if you really wanted to, and then like the bottom is just don't do it. There was a take on Twitter that I agreed with, and I realized that I might have been the person they were talking about, but they said, I never understand tier lists where there's like a bunch of Pokemon in the middle tier because you're basically saying nothing. I'm like, well, I don't think I'm really saying nothing, but I think I can give a little bit more of a nuanced opinion here by separating it into a million tiers, because you can get a better visualization as to like whether or not I think the Pokemon's good or not. But yeah, let's go ahead and begin. It's been 2 minutes. Charizard Y. Yeah, that's going into S tier. Basically, Charizard Y is more or less the best Pokemon in the game. As we can see here, Charizard Y has 159 special attack and 100 speed. Like in a game, in a format like Regulation MB, right? We can see that like the average speed tier is not like the greatest. There's some outliers, right? Keep in mind like the outliers are the Mega Pokemon. So removing every Mega Pokemon except for a few, there's only a couple of Pokemon that are really faster than Mega Charizard Y that are, notable. These would be your Lycanroc Dusks, your Megastaraptors, your Whimsicots, Sneasler, and occasionally like a Talonflame. Other than that, it's mostly just Mega Pokemon. Oh, and Mega Aerodactyl and Base Aerodactyl, of course. But these Pokemon that are faster than it, they're not necessarily counters to Charizard. They're more things that make it better. Garchomp, of course, being one of Mega Charizard Y's best partners, obviously because Garchomp is able to go for like Earthquakes right next to Charizard, while Charizard's able to spam its Heat Waves. But Garchomp's also an answer to opposing Charizard Y's because it's able to go for Rock Tomb and Rock Slide while being able to just eat whatever hit Charizard throws at it, save for a Solar Beam or like an Overheat if they decide to go for that. But yeah, Garchomp has like incredible bulk that allows for it to not only partner well with Charizard Y, but also just be a direct counter in some situations. And you could make the argument that Charizard Y got a little bit worse due to the introduction of the Life Orb. Like, bulky Charizard Y isn't going anywhere, but the fact that 9 out of 10 times the Garchomp's going to one-shot you with Rock Slide now, that's like not great for Charizard Y, but it's still at the top of the pack. Like, this thing's ridiculous. So yeah, Charizard X, and I feel like the only way I can responsibly do this tier list while keeping in mind, because here's the thing, right? If I go straight into Charizard X, I'm probably going to throw it into like B- tier and then have to move it around because some of my other takes have filled out. I think the best way to do this is I already know which Pokemon are S tier. I'm going to go straight to them because the other S tier in this ranking is going to be Mega Floette. Mega Floette, I think, is just fundamentally a messed up Pokemon. You have to keep in mind that we have a pretty severe lack of fairy types in this format, right? So in a way, by default, Mega Floette is a little bit centralizing. The other fairy types, and keep in mind, I'm talking about like I guess the best way to describe these are like the classical fairy type, the ones that want to click Dazzling Gleam and Moonblast, not a Mega Mawile, right? Like that's a completely different type of beast. Not a Grimmsnarl. We're talking about these special attacking fairies that hit really hard. Like these are your Primarinas, your, of course, your Floettes, your Sylveons, that sort of things. But like, there aren't a lot of them in the game. Mega Gardevoir, I suppose, counts as one, but I feel like Mega Floette just kind of outclasses it due to the Fairy Aura giving you ridiculous damage, the fact that you're faster. Actually, let me look at Gardevoir stats. I've seen so few Gardevoir that like I'm just not familiar with it. It has a higher special attack stat, but like offset by Fairy Aura, I believe that Floette might outdamage. I'm not sure. Because it has like Moonblast and stuff. Rather than having to go for Hyper Voice. It's faster, Mega Floette's bulkier, their physical defense is fairly comparable, so yeah, I think actually Floette's bulkier on the physical side. So yeah, like I mean like Gardevoir being like the best comparison to a Floette, while still not even able to do like half the things that Floette wants to do, is a good indicator. Like it has so many good sets. Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, Light of Ruin is a ridiculous move. If you ever see a King Gambit hit the field, you can just Light of Ruin it, and it's like, cool, you don't even get to Iron Head me. But yeah, I mean, like, while it didn't win the St. Jude tournament, like, we have to keep in mind that there still are Floette representatives in this event. And if we look at the metagame and we look at, like, Floette, right? Floette had 146 combined, or 146 in day one, and then in day two, oh wait, day one Swiss rounds, yeah, 146, and then in Top Cut, that converted to 3 Eternal Floettes, which is honestly not a bad conversion considering there were only 8 Incineroar in Top Cut. Like if there are 3 Floette in Top Cut and 8 Incineroar and Floette's a Mega Pokemon, that's a very good conversion. Bear in mind there are 5 Charizards though, so obviously I'm gonna put Charizard above it. But the fact that they can fit on similar teams, if not the same team, is really, really crazy. So yeah, is there anything else I would really put in S tier? You could make the argument for I'm not sure. I'm not sure you could really make an argument for anything else. Might come back to that, but I think we're gonna move on to A tier. And in A tier, my pick is probably just gonna be for the top of A tier, Frostlass. I think Frostlass is an A+ Pokemon. Frostlass is a Pokemon that is so unique in what it brings to the table in this metagame that it barely has to change when other stuff shows up. And Ice Ghost is just an incredible offensive typing, right? Bear in mind that the best Frostlass team in Regulation MA is still the best Frostlass team in Regulation MB. I can actually show it to you guys. Back up. Here it is. Right here. It got 11th place. It was EGE. They ran the Frostlass Lycanroc Dusk team. Now, Frostlass does run Mega Scovillain as a secondary Mega for certain matchups like Sand, because Scovillain is just able to annihilate stuff like that. You can make the argument that maybe you want to bring Scovillain to like a rain matchup, which I think actually is probably true considering the team. But yeah, Frostlass is incredible. It has phenomenal bulk after you account for the snow boosting its physical defense. It has incredible speed at 120. It's faster than Garchomp. It's faster than a lot of Sneaslers if you go Timid. There are like a ton of Adamant Sneasler right now. And it's going to be faster than basically everything in the metagame that's relevant other than Aerodactyl or a Delphox. But even then, like, you have a fighting shot against Delphox and stuff. But yeah, basically what Mega Frostlass has been doing this entire metagame is shifting out its partner Rock-type Pokemon. Currently, it's Lycanroc Dusk still, but before it was like Arcanine with a Focus Sash. I really like the Sash Arcanine version with like Rockhead. I thought that was quite good, but I do understand why they switched to the Lycanroc Dusk. The higher speed means that it's able to take on Charizard and Garchomp a little bit more effectively, and it's just like an overall pretty strong Pokemon with great damage output. Technically higher damage output than a than a Rockhead Arcanine, just because of the slightly higher attack stat, but that's like neither here nor there. It loses access to Flare Blitz. But yeah, basically you just play Bodyguard, get rid of the problem Pokemon, and then Frostlass is just able to deal with whatever. You see a Charizard, use the Lycanroc, get rid of it. You see a thing that threatens the Lycanroc like a Garchomp, you use the Frostlass and deal with it. Frostlass is also able to run very bulky sets. That means that it can tank like Wave Crashes and Last Respects from Basket Legion while one-shotting them back with Shadow Ball. It has a good matchup in a Sneasler. A Sneasler basically can't touch it. And while it doesn't enjoy King Gambit, like, it has the right partner Pokemon around it to get rid of it. For example, a freaking Sneasler, or like the Lycanroc with close combat, even the Scovillain if you decide just not to bring Frostlass. Frostlass brings a lot to the table. It's consistently doing well. I would argue that Frostlass is definitively like the second best team in the format. If we call like Charizard Floette, or like some variation of fire type Floette, or like Charizard, or like a Charizard and like a fairy type with like Sylveon, if we call that like the #1 best team, which I get that they're like different teams, right? But they do kind of play similar. You could argue that like this type of archetype of team is probably the second best team in format, is what I would probably say. But yeah, honestly, I might just start going in order. I just want to get the top tiers out of the way. It helps me like frame things. Let's go ahead and jump to Charizard X then. Yeah, we'll just go in order. Why not? Because I feel like I'm going to be moving things around, so bear in mind that like the final rankings will come at the end when I adjust everything. Charizard is probably a B or a B- for me. I'm going to say on the generous end, B. The reason for it is because Charizard basically has one team. Charizard X, I mean. Charizard X has to be run with some kind of like Sinistcha support, like a mouse hold, something to reduce the damage, because it's such a setup heavy Pokemon. Yes, you get one Dragon Dance off and suddenly that Flare Blitz is one-shotting everything. Suddenly that Dragon Claw is one-shotting everything. But you do have to run Protect on it. You kind of need it. Yeah, you have like two of the best stab moves in the game, right? And 130 attack with Tough Claws at +1, 100 base speed. You're going to outspeed and one-shot most Pokemon, but it does require support from Sinistcha, and like you do technically see it with Milotic still quite a bit, which feels outdated. It's weird that Milotic's still there. But it's meant to drive away the Intimidate Pokemon from Charizard. But yeah, if we just look at like this metagame, if we take a look at like Charizard Y, right? Charizard Y and Charizard X, I'm trying to see, because you can point out a Charizard X team, like it's like not a needle in a haystack. It's like seeing like a, I don't know, a diamond in a haystack. I'm trying to point one out. I'm not seeing it. This is definitely dual weather. I have to see a Sinistcha. As soon as I see a Sinistcha, I know I found like the Charizard X team. Oh my god, was there any Charizard X? Was there any Charizard X? This one's definitely Y. Yeah, that's Y. Oh my god, there might have been... Was there no Charizard X? Hold on. Hold on. Sinistcha. Maybe I'll find a Charizard Sinistcha. Sinistcha. Where's the Charizard? That'd be crazy if there was just no Charizard X in this whole tournament. Here it is. Sinistcha Charizard. This has to be it, right? Yes, okay, we found it. It screens Charizard X, Sinistcha, 4-4. It's a middle of the road team. It's definitely a secondary mega. You can make the case that it's like a primary mega. This one has to be Charizard X too, right? Yeah, that's Charizard X. So notice that we had to scroll down quite a bit to find like the Charizard X stuff. Now, I don't know. Maybe there's a better Charizard X in here that I like can't find. I am not going to dig for it because I know it's going to take a second for me to get there, and I don't want to stay on this one too long. The point is, Charizard X is just okay. It is one of the most okay Pokemon that you could possibly run. It takes a lot of effort to get going, and it takes a lot of bodyguarding and building around it, and it really only has one team it kind of works on, but it's fine. Now, Venusaur. I'm going to throw Venusaur into... I'm going to say B+. And the reason is because Venusaur is actually an incredible secondary mega that got better now that Rain got buffed. Venusaur not only plays well with Swampert, but also against Swampert. It plays well into Arch. It plays well into Floette, technically. You know, there's a lot of Pokemon that Venusaur wants to come to, but Venusaur tends to be a secondary mega and not really a primary mega. Basically, you pair it with like a Charizard, or you pair it with a Floette, or you pair it with in most cases, a Swampert, right? Because you're playing Venusaur on Rain, and Venusaur becomes a nuisance to get rid of. Swampert does not want to show up into a matchup where it's not going to be able to keep its weather up, or it's facing off against a Floette of like a Sinistcha or something, right? a Float with like a good bodyguard will just absolutely annihilate any Swampert team, where a Venusaur can kind of hold its own against that sort of thing. And Venusaur is just kind of like a hard stop to a few Pokemon in the metagame. You could make the argument that Venusaur is like a little bit of a hard stop to like both of the Raichus, as like mid-tier as they are. It's a hard stop to Float if it doesn't have like a setup move. It does pretty okay even into some like arguably neutral matchups. Like if you're facing off against I don't know, a Mawile. Mawile is actually like an incredible matchup for Venusaur since it does run Earth Power and it can just kind of tank whatever hit Mawile wants to go for. Other than Iron Head, but for the most part, Mawile running like Sucker Punch and Play Rough right now. But yeah, Venusaur is definitely like a secondary mega pick, but it's like good. It is able to soak up whatever hit and just play well on rain. But yeah, Blastoise, I am going to put probably above Charizard in B tier. Blastoise has more results, I would say.
This channel is partnered with GamerSupps. If you want to support my work and get great tasting drinks, you can order GamerSupps through my link in the description down below or with code Moxie boosted at checkout for 10% off. GamerSupps is a caffeinated product that I recommend only to my 18+ viewers, but my link will send you to their caffeine-free product section just in case. Every product purchased through my link supports my channel financially, so I'd really appreciate the support. Now back to the video.
Then Charizard X has, and I think that's good for reason. Not good for reason. I think that's for good reason. If we look at the metagame in this tournament, we look at Blastoise. Blastoise has some pretty decent finishes. It got 17th. Of course, Santi ran Blastoise, but it's once again a secondary mega sort of situation. You can run it on like these Delphox Mousehold kind of setup teams with like lots of bodyguarding. Of course, Mousehold, Sinistcha, Sneasler. And that's because like Blastoise, there used to be a version of Blastoise that got ran where it was like Trick Room and Tailwind. But for the most part, that's kind of been phased out for hard Shell Smash setup, where if you see a team where they literally cannot stop the follow me Shell Smash, you kind of just win with the Blastoise. It's meant to be a matchup farmer, is what I would say. It's like its current role in VGC is. We see at 39th Crevel, they're also running it as a secondary mega, once again with Sinistcha and Sneasler and Incineroar, and basically triple fake out, right? Triple fake out's nuts with Blastoise, and of course it's Shell Smash Water Spout. This is once again a, you know, I can play like Sinistcha, Incineroar, Sneasler, Float, or if I see a team that just straight up cannot stop my setup, I'm gonna farm the matchup really quickly. So yeah, it's an interesting Pokemon, and of course there was the Vivillon stuff. This is the Vivillon team that I was talking about, where it really is just like play the 50-50 with the Scarf Vivillon, put something to sleep, Shell Smash up, or you can, you know, go for a Rain Dance and go for the immediate Water Spout. It's an interesting Pokemon that has like a couple of teams it fits on, but for the most part, it is always going to be the secondary mega on the team. But it is good, so it's gonna go into B tier, maybe B plus. You can make the argument for B plus. All right. Next up is Beedrill. You know, Beedrill actually did quite good in a recent tournament. I forget which one, but I think it was Ran on Rain. But Beedrill, it's still maybe even F tier. If it did good in one tournament ever, like there's a case to look into it a little bit further. But let me see if it was anywhere here. Yeah, there was one Beedrill. Was this the one that did pretty good? Yes, it was the 21st place Beedrill. Yes, Torrevive. And now Torrevive is an incredible player, so we have to keep that in mind. But yeah, so it is a Life Orb Pelipper, a Leftovers Archaludon. This was a Beedrill with U-Turn, Poison Jab, Drill Run, Protect, a Swampert, a Farigiraf, and a Incineroar. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that this Beedrill existed for one reason and one reason alone: to let Pelipper pivot in and out much easier. Also, you can side U-turn your Arch and give it a defense boost. It's an interesting team, I can't deny. But the fact that this is Beedrill's only good finish is interesting. Is Beedrill good into certain megas? Yeah, I think maybe. Was it running Poison Jab? Let's run a calc. Narrative Now Damage Calculator. What does it take for a Beedrill to one-shot a Float? Can it do it easily? We'll go with the Calm mindset, like a lot more defense, because that is a little bit more common. We'll go 252 Jolly, or rather 32 Jolly in this game, and we'll give it Poison Jab. Does it get there? Poison Jab, yes, it easily gets there. So you could even make the argument that if you really want to KO it, calc for 32. Oh my god, it hardly even needs any attack investment. Maybe you play Beedrill with no attack investment. Maybe that's how you do it. It's interesting. I do like the Drill Run tech. Drill Run, of course, is able to hit steel types like Golden Go. how much does that do? Now, Beedrill has a great attack stat, right? But it's carried by adaptability. 32 attack. Let's go Adamant because Beedrill's that fast. It sucks that Beedrill's slower than freaking Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl hits 150 speed, but yeah, sure. Adamant, Drill Run. Drill Run. I also want to check like the Charizard calcs. Yeah, 68 to 81. There's no setup on this. It's just 3 attacks protect. Let me check Charizard. All right, a fast offensive Charizard Y. Adamant Beedrill has a roll to one-shot, not in its favor. 25% chance. We'll put it D tier out of respect for what it just did, because to be honest, F tier is 100%. That it's Pidgeot. Pidgeot has one niche. You ready for Pidgeot's one niche? Pidgeot is able to be immune to last respects, and also is slightly faster than Sneasler, because Sneasler's base 120 speed. So yeah, that is it. It can never miss a Hurricane. That's awesome. You know what else never misses hurricanes? Pelipper, because rain is up. It gets heat wave coverage. That's about it. Like, Pidgeot learns 5 moves. I hope you know that. Pidgeot learns a total of 5 moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Counted them all, right? And none of them are good, except for Hurricane. But that's, like, questionable. How did Pidgeot do in this tournament? Was there anyone? Oh, there were 2. There were 2 Pidgeots. And yeah, I think that's our proof. 0-2 and 1-1. These are the 2 Pidgeots in the entire tournament, so I don't think we really need to explore that one very much. Raichu X, I will say, is a little disappointing. I have ran it, and it's pretty okay, but it's not like... It's on the bad end of okay rather than the good end of okay, if that makes sense. How do I explain it? It is basically just a bulky Raichu Y with less speed. Because ultimately, I do think you have to run the special attacking variant. Raichu X and Raichu Y. We're going to talk about both of them because I think that both of them are not incredible, but they're still okay and usable. I think Raichu Y is actually better than Raichu X right now. And that mostly has to do with the fact that there are no electric seeds or anything in the game. But I think once the electric seed shows up, we might see more Raichu X. But yeah, Electric Surge, it does have access to Volt Tackle. And Volt Tackle does a lot of damage. 135 attack, Volt Tackle, Adamant. That's one-shotting a lot of Pokemon, but not a lot of relevant Pokemon. Raichu X. Let's show you guys this. Raichu X, HP invested. No, that's not it. Oh my god. Hold on. Raichu X. Rising Voltage Raichu X is the more common variant right now. It's not one-shotting a Charizard because Rising Voltage requires the target be grounded to get the one-shot. That's why you run Volt Tackle as well. But let me actually switch this to like Adamant. I want to show you guys like the Volt Tackle calcs. 32. I think King Gambit is a good example. It's like a really bulky Pokemon, but it's like, it's not an Intimidator, you know? Volt Tackle doing 62 to 73 to a King Gambit, which is fairly good, if a little unimpressive. Yes, it does get Brick Break. You could technically run that if you really wanted to. 81 to 96, at that point, it's kind of whatever. I'm trying to think what's like another physical... another, like, you know, not weak to electric Pokemon that this thing wants to hit. Sneasler, it probably one-shots Sneasler, right? Volt Tackle, yeah, you're one-shotting Sneasler like 5 times over. And by that, I mean 1.5. That's great, but you have to keep in mind the recoil. Raichu has 60 HP, it has 60 base HP, right? You're gonna probably eat a hit before you attack in a lot of situations. And if you one-shot, that's cool, but you're basically always sacrificing the Raichu. Raichu is not Koraidon. Raichu can't do this twice. It probably gets to do it once. It's probably C, if anything. Yeah, and Raichu Y, I'm gonna go ahead and put that probably, I'll put it like B. B's fine. Raichu Y is good-ish. It's terrifying in the right matchups, and it requires a lot of defense and a little bit of babysitting, but I think that Raichu Y is ultimately kind of hindered by the fact that it is so frail, and it can't run a Focus Sash, right? Raichu Y, we see all these Raichu. This looks like a Raichu Y team. Yep. Yeah, Zap Cannon, Focus Blast, Protect, Fake Out. It's pretty cool. Like we have seen like Raichu get paired with like Eternal Flood. I think this is like the exact team that MDB ran like the first time we saw it. But yeah, we see Raichu here. Is this a Raichu Y? Yeah. Fake Out, Focus Blast, Protect. It's interesting. The Raichu Y teams is the best way to explain it is they feel fake. That's not bad, right? Like they always have interesting Pokemon, but they do definitely feel a little bit fake. It's just a bunch of like strange Pokemon. We saw Pikachu, Raichu kind of make a little bit of an impact, but yeah, Raichu requires a certain level of babysitting. We have like Intimidate and Fake Out from Incineroar. We have Sinistcha. We see Intimidate on Gyarados. Follow Me from Clefable. There's a lot of redirection that has to happen. I think that Farigiraf is one of the better partners for Raichu Y just because it completely takes the Sucker Punch out of the equation. Sucker Punch is one of the best ways to deal with Raichu Y. A Black Glass's Sucker Punch just one-shots it if it doesn't have any defense investment, which a lot of them don't on ladder right now. But yeah, it's like a B tier. It's definitely better than Charizard. You can make the argument for B+, but I'm going to be cautious and put it in B. Clefable, that is a C tier. C tier is once again going to be inhabited by Pokemon that might do something, but have yet to do anything. Mega Clefable's cool. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Not going to spend a ton of time on it. I mean, like, it's got good bulk. It hits pretty hard with 135 special attack. It doesn't get Tailwind, which kind of sucks. It is a hypothetically good partner for Garchomp, but I think it'd only be that good if it got access to Tailwind, which it does not. It gets Icy Wind. That's kind of cool. It has Follow Me. Flying type is kind of awesome, but it is broadly not great into stuff like Aerodactyl, Venusaur, Sneasler, King Gambit. There's a lot of things that just hunt this thing for sport, you know? So yeah, it is probably C tier below Raichu. Mega Alakazam, I think I need to add more tiers. We're adding a row below. We're adding C- and C+. We're going to do C-, C+. I don't think there's a need for D+. Right? I think that's just like whatever. All right. C+, we'll put Raichu there. Change this color to freaking blue, I guess. And we'll change this one to dark blue. There we go. I don't think there's a need for D+ or anything. I think that C-, C+ is good enough. But yeah. Alakazam, that is probably sitting in C- right now. The reason I say this is because while Alakazam is cool and all, there's no Psychic Terrain. Give it Psychic Terrain, it can cook. Right now, it can't. Alakazam is basically just a frail, fast special attacker with no Focus Sash, which is one of the worst things you can be, especially when you basically have no ability because you have Trace. Alakazam has literally 55 HP and 65 defense. That is an Aqua Jet waiting to happen. And has 105 special defense, and it is fast and hits hard. It is like the same speed as an Aerodactyl. But it just doesn't. It feels weird to say it doesn't have the damage output, but it legitimately doesn't. Like it needs that Psychic Terrain, and the fact that like yes, that Psychic's gonna hurt, right? You could even run Psyshock. I'm actually fairly convinced Psyshock has a roll to one-shot a Charizard. Why? Let's check. Maybe that's like the use case for it. But even then, Earthquake, you know, Alakazam, Mega, 32, Modest. Let's give it the best case scenario. Psyshock. No, it is not a chance to KO, even though it hits on the physical side of things. Yeah, I mean, like, it's when it gets Expanding Force, we can talk again, right? But until then, right? Give it Expanding Force. Set up Psychic Terrain. Or Psychic Terrain. Yeah, now you're hitting both Pokemon for like a ton of damage. That's when we can talk about it. Right now, it's hitting things with coverage moves, and it's not one-shotting them is the best way to put it. Next up, oh my god, this is going to take forever. Pinsir, that is a high D tier, low C-. Yeah, I mean, it lost Double Edge. That really sucks. It's really weak to rock. Its speed tier is not high enough for its typing. Bug flying, 105 base speed. It's pretty good. It's still slower than like a lot of Rock Slide users that are relevant, like Aerodactyl and Lycanroc. It is faster than Garchomp, and it can do a lot of damage with... It doesn't have Double Edge anymore. Oh my god, why'd they do that? It has Body Slam. I don't know why they got rid of Double Edge. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, it's not great, but you can maybe use it. We'll put it above Alakazam. Victory Bell. Ironically, kind of usable. Ironically, a little usable. It's going above Clefable. Just because it's a matchup farmer. I kind of like the idea of like you can't touch this thing, but like it is we'll put it below Clefable. It's fine. It's like it hits fairly hard with 135 special attack, right? And it has like okay defenses. One would argue two good defenses for what it wants to do. Innards out means that like if you knock it out, you take the amount of damage that it had. You take the amount of HP it had left in damage when you knocked it out. So max HP is usually optimal for this guy. It can play in Sun if you use Chlorophyll and don't mega it. So it's weird. It's flexible. It's done okay in some tournaments. How good did it do in the recent one? There has to be at least one Victory Bell, right? Victory Bell. There was one Victory Bell, and it went 1 and 3, unfortunately. This is one of my subscribers. All right. Slowbro. That's like it's a little bit of a do-nothing Pokemon. One would argue it's like better than these guys. C tier feels right. Slowbro is able to do body press stuff, and it has like good setup moves. Body press, Calm Mind, Slack Off, Scald, and you like babysit it with I guess Iron Defense over Calm Mind, right? And then you just babysit it with like a Sinistcha. Like that's like a thing you can do. It's not great, right? It's not great. You can even just go, I don't know. I've seen stored power sometimes. It's weird. It's a weird Pokemon, but it's fine. It's one of the most okay Pokemon ever. Next up, Gengar. Gengar, finally a good Pokemon. We're gonna throw him in A tier. I think he's not quite on Frostlass's level, but it's still quite good. It's not like where it used to be. I think Perish is strong, but it's not broken. There's a lot of Pokemon that are relevant in the metagame that just absolutely dunk on it. Incineroar, King Gambit, Basculegion all being like in top 5 is not great for it. Tailwind and Garchomp being such a relevant thing means that like Gengar is kind of struggling to be in a position where it can go for like substitutes and protects to Perish trap you in. But we have seen Perish do really good despite this. Like you play the Gengar a little bit more offensively and it gets a lot more value. I think that Gengar, you put Perish on it still, right? But like I think that you actually use it more as like a pinning piece, like a hey, you can't switch out, and hey, my buddy Garchomp is right here to one-shot you. It's more like that nowadays, I think. But yeah, Gengar is still quite good. It's just not at the level that it used to be. Even in Regulation MA, I think got slightly worse due to the Life Orb. But yeah, if we take a look at it, 16 Gengar. Top place was Edu, who used it on a Rain Hybrid team. We also see it in 8th place with Mr. Rishi. We used it with Snorlax, which is pretty cool. Snorlax, Yawn, Encore Fissure, Mega Gengar, Perish Song. We also see Encore and Alolan Ninetales. I really like the Gengar Ninetales combo. I think that's actually really strong. But yeah, and then we see it on Raid. Of course, it fits well as a secondary Mega on Raid. I think that Swampert's a great Pokemon, but it is not it should be your only Mega type Pokemon. I think that you really need to play that thing careful. But yeah. Kangaskhan, that is going to go in, I'm going to say top of B+. Better than these two, but not like, it's also kind of a secondary Mega. I think that like, I've seen like Kangaskhan Mawile do kind of good. Kangaskhan's still strong. It's not where it used to be. Obviously, it used to be like arguably the best Mega in the game. But we can see that we look up its usage. It got 26th, 27th, and then 73rd. It's Kangaskhan Mawile stuff. Or this might even just be Silk Scarf Kangaskhan. But I've seen Mega too. That's Life Orb Scrappy. Oh my god, where's the Mega? This is probably also just... No, that one's Mega. That one's definitely Mega. Yeah, Kangaskhanite. Fake Out, Ice Punch, Low Kick, Double Edge on Trick Room. It's weird that Kangaskhan became like kind of a Trick Room merchant, you know? That's like, it's like, you will put me on a Trick Room team, and that is like the only archetype I'll actually be kind of good at. But it makes sense. I mean, like, it gets to run like Hammer Arm to slow itself down. For a minute, it was like the de facto Trick Room Mega, which is weird because like we had Trick Room Megas, we had Golurk, we had Crabominable. It's just that Kangaskhan was the most consistent because it hit hard. It was able to take full advantage of its like incredible bulk and lower its speed to play effectively in Trick Room. I liked it. I think it's an okay Mega. It's probably still going to do fine. It's not going to be like as strong as it was in the past, but it's still quite good. Mega Starmie. So many people were on me on my first tier list where I said Starmie was not good. Oh my god. How do you guys feel now? Where are all those Mega Starmie top cuts? Huh? Let's take a look. Before I pass judgment, we'll take a look in the metagame. Starmie. Oh my god, were there no Starmies? How does it feel, everybody? Oh, Mega Starmie's good. Okay. We'll throw it here. I think it's better than Clefable. It's definitely a threatening Pokemon, but it is not nearly good enough to be like C tier, or above C tier rather. All right. Mega Gyarados. I'm gonna throw that one in like it's like in the same vein as like a Raichu. I'd even put it above the Raichu. It's a cool Pokemon. It's just not really the right environment for it right now. It can get away with it with like the right babysitting. I use that term a lot. Incineroar, Sneasler, Sinistcha, that sort of thing. You get a Dragonance up, it's quite good. It outspeeds a lot of Pokemon. 81 base speed, a little rough for it. Actually, does it get slower when it megas? I'm pretty sure it's still 81. Yes, it's still 81. Has incredible bulk, mind you. 95, 109, 130. I think this thing's like a little bit of like, it's not really tapped into as much as it should be. Because I think that having a crunch and a waterfall that are able to ignore, you know, abilities is probably quite good in a lot of situations. You can just annihilate a Mimikyu if you end up in that position. Technically, your waterfall can flinch an inner focus Pokemon, which is really funny. And also, it can taunt Oblivious Pokemon if it really wanted to. It's like a weird Pokemon. It's definitely a secondary Mega, but I think it's like an untapped into secondary Mega. But yeah. Aerodactyl, that is going right into A tier. I'm going to say just below Frostlass. You can make the argument that it might even be S tier, but I think as it stands right now, Aerodactyl is like A+. Aerodactyl is quite good. Aerodactyl is quite good. It's high speed, it's access to Rock Slide, and you know what? That's all you really need to say, isn't it? Yeah, Aerodactyl in MB is just as strong as it was in MA, in my opinion. We can see that right here. We have Aerodactylite and Sylveon. What do you know? What do you know? It's a Reg MA team with a Life Orb on the Garchomp. And yeah, that's all it really changed. You know, MJ also got a pretty good finish with a base Aerodactyl, but, you know, we're talking about the Mega form. Is this one? This one seems like it would be Mega. Yeah, Aerodactylite. Aerodactyl is weird because it's basically a Sylveon partner. More than anything, it is meant to enable Sylveon, which I find really funny. The best way to explain it is that Aerodactyl is able to deal a lot of really good physical damage with Rock Slide. It's able to deal with like Pokemon that Sylveon isn't able to deal with. For example, we'll go with a Venusaur, right? You can dual wing beat the Venusaur. You can hit for like physical damage while Sylveon hits for special damage. But the issue is that Sylveon, how to explain it? If you go like Whimsicott Sylveon, you do get the immediate Tailwind, and then Sylveon can be faster than everything and go for its Hyper Voices and deal a lot of damage. But then you're just like only dealing Fairy type damage, which as good as Fairy type damage is, 2 special Fairy types is strong. You'd rather have a physical attacker in the field. Basically, Aerodactyl is able to do that. It's able to be about as effective as a Whimsicott Tailwind, unless you're facing a Whimsicott because of how fast the Tailwind comes out. It lets Sylveon move before all the other Pokemon, and it lets you go for Rock Slide physical damage alongside Fairy type special damage, which is just a really good, it has a good matchup spread. It hits like basically everything. You see a Charizard, that Charizard would easily tank a freaking Hyper Voice. It would tank 2 Hyper Voices. A single rock touches that thing, boom, explosion. You see a Garchomp, that thing would tank a Rock Slide like nothing. It sees a Hyper Voice, boom, explosion. Like that's the duo, and like that's why it's good. It is a Sylveon partner. Dragonite, underperforming a little bit right now, but I still think it's quite good. I'm gonna go ahead and throw Dragonite in. I kind of want to throw it in B. I think that Dragonite is underperforming right now just because like there's new toys and like a lot of the things that Dragonite wanted to be on rain teams, right? Notably, its place is now being experimented with the likes of Metagross and Swampert and stuff. But Dragonite is still quite good, in my opinion. Why am I searching on the wrong screen here? All right. Dragonite. There were 23 Dragonite. It got second place. Is this a Mega? No, it's the Lumberry. Where is the Mega Dragonite? This one feels like it would be Mega. Yep, Dragon Unite. Tailwind, Draco Meteor, Hyper Voice, Heat Wave. It really is just a coverage monster that like gets Tailwind up for free. It is a Pokemon that gets to Tailwind up for free in a lot of situations. Also, I do like that Metagross Toxapex is now becoming an established archetype. That's really silly. Also, Dragonite pairs incredibly well with Metagross. It used to be like a Hydreigon Metagross kind of duo, but I think that Mega Dragonite, Mega Metagross are also like a pretty good like dynamic where you bring one or bring the other. You see a Floette, bam, Metagross. You see a Charizard, I'm bringing Dragonite, you know. I think it's kind of cool. And just their inherent bulk makes them like very flexible. But I do love that Toxapex is being paired with Metagross now. That's pretty cool. Metagross is one that we're gonna have to talk about soon, but I think that Metagross is a little iffy. It's a little iffy right now, which is kind of crazy to say. Meganium, that's going to be going into the... I'll put it C+. I think Meganium's still pretty good. It's not like the worst Pokemon ever, and it still hits really hard, and it can still function on rain. I think it's just a matter of Meganium's going to have like a week where it's good again, but it's going to stay pretty under wraps right now. When it was a new toy, it was exciting. You know, being able to go for Weather Ball as a fire-type move in rain with no damage reduction, being able to go for like a pretty strong Dazzling Gleam off of its 143 special attack stat was pretty good. I think that as rain gets better, Meganium is going to not only function on rain, but also as a counter to rain. Meganium gets Earth Power, doesn't it? It does. I think that, like, literally all you have to do to make Mega Meganium good again is just run these 3 moves, Protect, and it's like an instant rain matchup if you have a way of dealing with the Pelipper. You know, if you see a Swampert, they are not bringing that to the Meganium matchup. They also don't like Arch. Can both of them hit you for super effective damage? Flash Cannon's going to hurt? Yes. Ice Punch is going to hurt, yes, but like Meganium has ridiculous bulk. I think that it is a little undervalued right now. And that's coming from someone who is a big Meganium naysayer, who also ended up being right. But yeah, as the original Meganium naysayer, I'm going to say that like now is probably the time to start looking into it again. But it's definitely a secondary Mega, and you need a way to deal with Charizard. Maybe run like Aero Mega. That'd actually be maybe not the worst combo ever. 80 base speed. I mean, actually, it does hit that speed tier it needs to. Base Arrow Meganium right there for anyone who wants to try it out. It's not going to be me, though. Maybe later. All right. Next up, for Alligator. That's a C tier. Arguably right here. Incredible typing. Water Dragon is one of the best typings you can have. Like, defensively, you have one weakness. Offensively, you hit a lot of Pokemon. It just isn't fast enough, is what I would say its main issue is. For Alligator, has 78 speed. A Dragon Dance is going to help, but oh my god, your speed is so low. You have to invest so much into that Dragon Dance to start hitting the numbers you need to. 143, you need to hit 149 to outspeed Aerodactyl with a Scarf, I believe. So after a Dragon Dance, it's that same number. It can't outspeed an Aerodactyl after a single Dragon Dance. It is bulky. It does have 85, 125, 93. But it is also Intimidate food. You do get Double Edge. I think you have to run Double Edge. That it one-shots a lot of Pokemon off of Dragon Eyes, right? But yeah, and then you kind of have to run like Waterfall or Liquidation. Probably Liquidation. But Waterfall has that chance to flinch, so who knows? And it's hard to run coverage because you do need a setup move for a lot of situations. You could maybe go Swords Dance and like Aqua Jet. That's also an option. But yeah, it's an interesting Pokemon. Maybe even Scale Shot if you really wanted to. It's probably good in singles, but not great in doubles. But yeah. Next up is Mega Ampharos. In a game with not a lot of electric types, Mega Ampharos still manages to be pretty underwhelming. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in C tier. I think it has good matchups. I'm gonna put it like top of C tier, which feels weird. There are good matchups for Mega Ampharos. Mega Ampharos can literally disassemble a Charizard, Garchomp, Aerodactyl team given the right partners and right like board positioning. Is it a potential mon? Yes, but like Dragon Pulse does one-shot every Garchomp ever. Thunderbolt does one-shot most of the Charizards that are relevant right now. Like the bulkier ones even don't like taking it super well because this thing has ridiculous special attack. What is its special attack stat? I know it's high. 165, yeah. And you have Mold Breaker too, which isn't useful in a lot of situations, but it can still be quite good. Yeah, I think that like this is a Pokemon that would fit on Rain, but like nothing else, or maybe some kind of like weird hybrid team. Scizor also very much underperforming right now. I'm gonna put it in B-. Maybe B actually. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in B, probably above Charizard, but below Raichu. The reason I say this is because I think that Scizor, as much as it's underperforming right now, is still very good. And I think the reason that people aren't using Scizor like they used to, Scizor at one point was considered like an A- kind of ish Pokemon, a B+. But it's not being used right now because there's a lot of new steel types. And by a lot, I mean Goldengo and Metagross. And those Pokemon are able to somewhat patch up a Mega Floette matchup. And Charizard's still number 1, so, you know, Scizor is considered quite the big risk, but I think it still has the sauce. I think it still has access to Swords Dance, Bullet Punch, Close Combat. It can still do what it needs to do. And on the right team as a secondary Mega Pokemon, it's going to be fine. Skarmory. I'm going to say Skarmory's in the exact same place, actually. The exact same situation. This is another secondary Mega. I would put it above Scizor for one reason and one reason alone, and that's Rock Slide. It's like a fast Scizor, effectively. It's a physically attacking Steel type Mega with 140 base attack. At least I think it is. Yeah, 140 base attack. Now, the thing that Skarmory has above Scizor is, of course, Rock Slide, which means that, yes, under the right conditions, Skarmory can not only wall out a Charizard and a Floette, but also take on it, wall out a Garchomp as well as a Floette, but also take on Charizard. Iron Head, Brave Bird, Protect. I think you'll run it like that with like a Whimsicott and you're kind of in business. So yeah, it's a good Pokemon. It's just not really there right now. Heracross, highest attack stat in the game currently. Why don't you go ahead and chill out right here in C tier? Probably above Pinsir. You have a better typing than Pinsir, I'll give it that. It's hard to explain what makes Heracross bad. It's mostly just the fact that yes, Heracross has that high attack stat. Yes, it has access to rock coverage like Rock Slide, but oh my god, that speed's way too low. You gotta hit 113 to hit that magic number. That's the magic number of the format. You can run a lot of attack investment, but you're basically stuck clicking Rock Slide, Close Combat, Protect, and your final move. You basically don't have an ability if you do this. You basically don't have an ability. I don't think there's a single move you want to run other than like Bullet Seed. You can make the argument for Bullet Seed. I think that maybe at that point, you want to be able to... Let me think. You're hitting Charizard with this. You're hitting everything else with Close Combat. You don't really hit Fairy types. Does it get Poison Jab? Doesn't get Poison Jab. Does it get a Steel move? No. You can't expect a Pokemon to do everything. It gets Smart Strike, but that's not good. You can't expect a Pokemon to do everything. I think at that point, you just literally run like... I don't know. Pin Missile. There you go. Pin Missile. That is your move you use to hit other Pokemon because it is very strong and it uses your ability. Your ability finally matters. It's a weird Pokemon. It's not great. Tyranitar. A secondary Mega, if ever there has been one. I'm going to put it above Gengar. Tyranitar is still incredible. Being able to get Sand on demand is very good. If we look at Tyranitar, a lot of these will not be Mega Tyranitar, but a lot of them will be. Sand. Basically, we're seeing the best sand placement right now at 36th, right? Which is really funny. Because if you see a Tyranitar, that's the only sand user that's relevant. It's a Golden Go Tyranitar team, Sinistcha. A little bit straying from what we used to see. This is more what we probably see here with Shmon's team. Tyranitarite, Dragon Dance, Staraptor, Excadrill, Sinistcha, Golden Go, Milotic. Yeah, that's what you kind of expect. We used to have like that Hydreigon Joe team that was pretty good. This is similar to it-ish. Actually, where is that Hydreigon team? Here it is. I thought this was a pretty cool archetype. I think that Tyranitar got better because of Houndstone. Now, I think this is before people were running the Houndstone. Houndstone typically runs... I've seen Body Press. Why is it doing that? I've seen Body Press a lot, but I think that like you can honestly just make the case for putting Howl on it, putting Disable, putting Ally Switch. It's a good Pokemon. It does need another Mega next to it, but I think that it is probably better than Gengar just in sheer applicability. So yeah. What are we looking at now? Sceptile. Better than it has ever been, in my opinion, but still a C+ tier. Probably top of C+. Sceptile's cool. It has one team it works on right now. It is that Rotom Heat team that people are kind of running on ladder right now. Does it have some sauce? Yes, it got Shed Tail, it got a bunch of other stuff, but like as far as matchups go, it doesn't want to show up to Floette, it doesn't want to show up to Arrow, it doesn't want to show up to Charizard. It is a secondary Mega. It is the secondary Mega if you ever run it. And you basically have to run it with a Floette, in my opinion. Because Floette has like a matchup spread where it can be played into opposing Floette, into a Charizard, and into an Aerodactyl, arguably, right? But Sceptile can't be played into any one of those, and those are the top three. So you have to have like a Pokemon that can play into them if you even want to have like a winnable matchup. Blaziken. This is going to be a crazy take for Blaziken. I think Blaziken's extremely undervalued right now. I'm going to put Blaziken probably... Above Venusaur, we'll put it, its matchups are just so incredible. It has one team, but its matchups are ridiculous. I'm going to put it below Blastoise, just because Blastoise has more broad applicability. That A- tier is looking barren right now. But yeah, I think that Blaziken is pretty great right now. It has, yes, it is it Intimidate food? Yes, but like you pair it with a King Gambit, you're kind of doing, it's fine, right? You can kind of slot it in for a standard Charizard team, which is really funny. Like the best Blaziken teams, I think, look a lot like Charizard. And it's basically just a rock sliding physical Charizard, which is really funny. But yeah, Blaziken, like a type. Blaziken, its best placement was 65th. We see it, yep, it basically plays like a Charizard team. Blazikenite next to Black Glasses King Gambit. Detect, Flare Blitz, Close Combat. Brave Bird's cool. I typically run Rock Slide on mine because that means that you take on Charizard pretty easily. Blaziken outspeeds basically every Pokemon after a single speed boost. It's able to tank a hit or two. It's not the bulkiest Pokemon ever, obviously, but it is still able to eat a hit because it has 80, 80, 80. And it's like able to one-shot a lot of Pokemon. It has a ridiculous attack stat, 160. Let me show you the Flare Blitz calc into a freaking Floette, right? Blaziken. Blaziken. Physical Offense Mega into a Floette. Also, I want to show you the Rock Slide. Rock Slide, yep, you're one-shotting Charizard, even if they're bulky, because it is 160 attack. But what am I looking for? Floette. The Calm Mind variant. That Flare Blitz is doing 82%. 82%. That's ridiculous. Let me turn off these things. But yeah, it's a good Pokemon. And like if you Sucker Punch it with the King Gambit, you go for Sucker Punch Flare Blitz, it's a KO. It's the exact same way it played with Bisharp back in 2018. It's just a little bit better. And that's really cool. It's got matchups that it does well into, and it's got matchup it does bad into. But its spread of matchups is so good. For what is, once again, a secondary Mega Pokemon, its matchup spread is still ridiculous. All right. Swampert. I think Swampert is finally our A- Pokemon. Swampert's good. Swampert's good. It is arguably the best secondary Mega. I've been using that term a lot because, to be honest, these are your primaries. Your secondary Mega, yeah, Swampert is quite good. It is bringing a lot to Rain teams that they wish they had in the past. A Swift Swim user that is not Basculegion, but you can also still run Basculegion. A Pokemon that has access to good coverage moves, an Ice Punch. A Pokemon that can hit for ground type attacks into opposing Arch. It has high horsepower, and of course, Wave Crash off of 150 base attack. It does have 150, right? Yeah, Wave Crash off of 150 base attack. Incredible bulk, too. 100, 110. 110 is crazy. You're running a Swift Swim Pokemon. You can get pretty fast with this thing if you really want to. You can go max speed if you want to. But once again, its magic number is still 113. It has access to Ice Punch to hit like opposing Sinistcha. If they switch out on a Wave Crash, they're not taking the Ice Punch in a lot of situations unless they're like Citrus. And yeah, it also does have access to Rock Slide if you really need it. I don't think you really need to. You can just Wave Crash the Charizard if you're in position. And yeah, it is a good Pokemon. It's hard to describe just how good it is because it's just kind of right there. It is maybe the most balanced Pokemon ever. So yeah, definitely you need to run with a different Mega though. You can't bring it to a Sinistcha matchup super easily. You need some way of dealing with it. You can use the Pelipper next to it to deal with Sinistcha. You have to play it really smart, but if like you see a Venusaur, they're gonna bring the Venusaur into it and you're gonna get completely walled out. It's gonna destroy your entire Rain team. Put a different Mega on the team to deal with it. Usually Metagross. I think Metagross Swampert is one of the better duos as far as Rain teams go. But you can make the case for a Venusaur. Venusaur Swampert's also good because Venusaur doesn't care about opposing Venusaur if you play it well. You know, you just pressure the partners and then use your Venusaur to wall out their Rain team. It's interesting. It's a good Pokemon. Gardevoir. That is also probably in B+. Is anyone even using it? It's weird. Gardevoir's not bad. It's just that there's Floette. And like because Floette exists, there's hardly a reason to use Gardevoir. 24th place. Yes. Okay. Scarlet was the highest placing one. Mega Gardevoir, Trick Room. It's basically Trick Room Floette. Yeah. And it plays well on Rain teams. Once again, you have a secondary Mega and a Rain. Actually, I do think Gardevoir Swampert is actually kind of a cool combo. That's not bad. But yeah, it's probably like it's probably like here. I don't think it's bad. It's just not, like, great, you know? All right. Sableye. That is probably going right into F tier. Sableye is not great. Sableye does basically nothing. Mega Sableye is not good, but base Sableye is pretty okay, is the best way to put it. Base Sableye can do everything Mega Sableye wants to do, but fast. It doesn't live hits as easily, but you don't need to live hits because you're clicking freaking Reflect and Light Screen and Will-O-Wisp and quashing things. You know? Mawile. I'm going to put that... I'm going to say above. I'm going to say above Swampert and A-. Mawile's very good. Mawile's very good. You can even make the case for like A. I think A- is a little bit safer though. It kind of only exists on Trick Room teams right now, but there is a case to use it outside of Trick Room. Mawile is very scary. It is one of the few Steel types in this metagame that is not named King Gambit. And yeah, it's threatening. It's a threatening Pokemon. It has huge power, 105 attack. It one-shots basically anything it wants at +1, even +2 if you get the Sucker Punch off, or if you get like Swords Dance off and you get Intimidated. You're still one-shotting a lot of Pokemon. It does incredible damage to Incineroar, right? Mawile, Tailwind, or Trick Room Attacker. Let's give it +2 and then send out the Incineroar to make it +1. You can see +1 Play Rough. That's enough to one-shot Incineroar. That's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous Pokemon. Now, it does have to make a choice between Swords Dance and Iron Head, in my opinion. I think you always keep Sucker Punch. That's its best pressure tool. It allows it to have like a matchup into Charizard, right? If you see a Charizard and you're at +2, your Sucker Punch can just one-shot the non-bulky ones. That is stupid. It is stupid that it can do that. +1, it's a roll, you know. But it's a good Pokemon. It's very good. Plays well in Rain, plays well in Trick Room, plays well in Balance. But it's mostly going to be a Trick Room guy right now. This is taking forever. Aggron. It's going in C. I don't even know where to put it, frankly. Aggron's kind of a do-nothing Pokemon. Does it hit hard with 140 attack and Heavy Slam? Yes. I don't know if it's really worth running it, though. It just kind of doesn't have a matchup in anything but Floette. And even then, like, the Floette matchups kind of are questionable. Because it's got 80 special defense and 70. It's just a defensive wall. It's cool. It's fun. It's a fun meme. It's not great. Yeah, I think here is probably perfectly acceptable for it. Yeah. Metacham. Very unproven Mega Pokemon, but still quite scary. I think that on the right team, Metacham can cook, but it just doesn't really have a team right now. We'll put Metacham probably above Raichu. It's very unproven right now, is what I'll say. Very unproven. I'll even put it above Gyarados, frankly. And Raichu above Gyarados. There you go. Nah, I'll put Raichu below Gyarados. These tiers low-key don't matter. All right. Manectric. Manectric makes me sad. Manectric used to be a Pokemon with swag, and now it just does nothing. It used to be a Volt-switching Intimidator with Snarl. It was the ultimate... It was the thinking man's Mega Pokemon. But there isn't really a use for it right now. 135 speed, 135 special attack is cool. It's just not really good. Yeah, it outspeeds Sneasler. It outspeeds a bunch of other Pokemon. You can maybe use it as like a secondary Mega on a Rain team with Rain Dance to help out like a Basculegion or an Arch or something, but it mostly just steps on toes these days. Intimidate's cool. Intimidate's awesome. It has a good matchup into Charizard Y, but it has a pretty bad matchup into Aerodactyl and Garchomp and stuff. Its bulk is fairly acceptable. The best way to describe Mega Manectric is it doesn't even feel like a Mega Pokemon anymore. It really doesn't feel like a Mega Pokemon. Volt Switch, Rain Dance, Protect. That used to be enough, to be honest. That used to be enough. It just isn't now. Snarl. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a Mega Pokemon. That is top of C. Yeah, like right there. Sharpedo, it's just speed boost and strong jaw. It's interesting. It's not great. I'll put it like there. I'll put it there. Camerupt. B-. Our first B-. I think that Camerupt is good. It's a good Pokemon. You know what? I'll even put freaking Abomasnow in B-. And do you want to know why? It's because they're the same Pokemon, effectively. These are the hard Trick Room Mega Pokemon that are outclassed by Torkoal. They're B- for a reason. They do one thing and they do it very good. They click a spread, special move, under Trick Room, and one-shot Pokemon that are weak to it or even neutral because it's freaking Heat Wave. With Sheer Force or Blizzard under Snow and stuff. They're good. They're solid. They both have ×4 weaknesses. They're the same Pokemon. I think Camerupt is better for sure, but they play on the same team, which is really goofy. Yeah, it's a hard Trick Room. Altaria, that's pretty bad. Altaria goes in C-, probably above the rest of the guys, because Altaria can at least live hits and hit pretty hard. But Altaria has lower damage output than a Sylveon. It has 110 special attack, Pixelate. It's just a bulky Sylveon with a partial dragon typing. Best way to put it. Bayonet. Make the argument for C tier. Just throw it in there. Don't really care where. It's got a high attack stat. It's got Prankster. On paper, that should be enough, but it isn't. It has trouble choosing its moveset. It wishes it could have 5 moves. It is 4 move slot syndrome, the Pokemon. Rain Dance, it definitely likes. It likes Taunt, it likes Will-O-Wisp, it likes Poltergeist, but it also likes Shadow Sneak and Shadow Claw. You can't Poltergeist a Pokemon if they have no items. So if they ate their Citrus Berry, sorry, you can't touch the Sinistcha. If they use their Focus Sash, sorry, you can't touch the Sneasler. It's a weird Pokemon. It's just it's very contradictory in everything it wants to do. It's strange, but it is pretty okay in the right matchups. It is again a secondary Mega. Chimecho, it is right in the middle of the pack. This C tier is getting ridiculous. We'll throw some stuff down. You can go down there. You can go down there. Yeah. Here, you guys can be friends. But yeah, I think that Chimecho is just, again, a do-nothing Mega Pokemon. It has Trick Room. It hits fairly hard with 135 special attack. Like Flash Cannon's fine, I guess. Trick Room, it's got a good defensive matchup. It walls Garchomp, Aerodactyl, Sylveon very easily. Doesn't do anything besides that. Absol, not built for this format. That is getting put right next to right next to Alakazam. Yeah, you could even make the argument it goes right here. Absol has like 150 attack. It has Swords Dance. It has Sucker Punch, but and it can't be burned or taunted or anything because of Magic Bounce, but it's just not quite there. You could make the argument that if like Landorus existed, you could make a case for Mega Absol, because you could like Ice Beam it. Maybe Mega Absol works, actually. Maybe you can... Does Ice Beam one-shot a Garchomp? Actually, wait, hold on, this is legitimately like me just checking this out real quick. Rock Slide, can I run this? Can I run like a naive Absol? Rock Slide, does it one-shot? If I go 32... That pretty cleanly one-shots the non-bulky ones. Let me see. 167, you have to go naive. You can't go attack boosting because you need to outspeed every Garchomp. Naive, give it 2 special attack, Ice Beam. If it can do both, there's a use case. All right, Rock Slide, it one-shots most Charizards. Garchomp, that's the question. A lot of Garchomp are fast now. That's good. A lot of them are Life Orbs. They're not really running bulk. Ice Beam, roll to one-shot. Yeah, maybe Absol can do something. It's got the speed tier. It's got a lot of things going for it. It's just probably not there. We'll throw it here. Glalie, it just explodes. It just explodes and does nothing else. Mega Metagross, that is, I'm going to say, bottom of A-, which sounds crazy. Metagross should be really good, but the thing is that I think that it's just kind of in a really bad position right now. It has incredible stats, incredible tools, but the metagame is extremely hostile to it. We're going to count all the Pokemon in the metagame capable of just threatening a KO on Mega Metagross. Maybe not a one-shot, but a KO, right? Immediately. Like, you have to be concerned because they're on the field. Garchomp, Charizard, Basculegion, King Gambit, Incineroar, Mega Mawile, Gengar. There's a lot of Pokemon that threaten it. It's tough. It's tough for it. Its claws are tough, right? It's a tough time to be a Metagross, but it's still good. It's just not like better than anything above it, is my take, you know. Staraptor. This is the most B-tier Pokemon I've ever seen, but I might even make the exception and put it A-. I think Staraptor is worse than Metagross, but it's not broken. It's good, right? It's a good Pokemon. Actually, I might even put it above Metagross. just because it has more teams that it functions on. I think at the moment people are starting to figure out that they've been using Staraptor wrong. At this point in time, people have mostly just been using side tickle, side parting shot to boost it up and be annoying. Play it with screens, Sinisha, all this stuff to bodyguard it. You don't need a bodyguard it that hard. Do you want to know what you need to do? I'm going to say the magic words. It's a secondary mega. You put it on a Floette team, you put it on a Charizard team, you put it on a Rain team, a Sand team, whatever. And it is meant to be a matchup check. The Pokemon that check Floette do not like Staraptor. They do not like Staraptor. Metagross does not enjoy the Staraptor matchup. Yes, Psychic Fangs hurts it, right? But you get a close combat off. Everything's all good. Mawile, definitely a big threat to Staraptor, actually. But Staraptor is good into Rain. You can close combat Archaldon over and over and over again, and it'll never be able to really get any significant damage off on you if you manage to get one close combat off before it can start going for its Electro Shots. Electro Shot's gonna hurt, but if you manage to kind of get like the lead on it, get a close combat off before they have like that opportunity, it's pretty good. It's good into Swampert. It's good into like Venusaur. It's good into a bunch of Pokemon. It's just babysat too much. It's good. It's just not. It's not as broken as people think it is. That being said, Staraptor in this tournament, I don't think it performed super well. 34th, yeah. Highest placing Staraptor being 34th is really funny. It's okay. It's the most okay Pokemon ever. I actually think I'm going to put it below Metagross. Lopunny. That is going to be a B tier from me. I'm going to say just below Raichu Y. Lopunny's still good. It's just not... It's a very specific kind of team, you know. I actually don't even know what kind of team a Lopunny fits on, to be honest. I can't think of one off the top of my head, other than that one, like, Meowscarada one from the beginning of MA. 30th place, 36th place. Oh, yeah, that's two pretty good placements. It fits on Sand, it fits on... yeah, I remember the Espathra Rain stuff had a Lopunny sometimes. Interesting. All right. Yeah, Lopunny's kind of cool. Garchomp. One of the most undervalued megas in the game right now. That being said, nothing super special. I'm going to put it below Staraptor. Now, why is Mega Garchomp up here? Because it keeps doing really well. Granted, in the hands of one player, my old channel artist, Atrix MJ. That being said, I think that I have to put it up here as a personal opinion because I think that I understand why Mega Garchomp is seeing play occasionally. It's not the most common Mega, but the flexibility of it being a Garchomp, an itemless Garchomp is still a Garchomp, right? It is so flexible that if you put it on a team with a Charizard or a Floette, you don't have to Mega it. You can just play it as like a regular Garchomp without an item. A lot of Garchomps basically don't have items sometimes. Sometimes you don't get to use a Focus Sash. Sometimes the Choice Scarf doesn't matter. Sometimes the Citrus Berry never even gets to activate. But when you do get to bring that Garchomp to the right matchup, effectively, you just click like a power button. You click like the button that says, no, I don't drop to that Hyper Voice. And also now I one-shot with like Earthquake, right? It's an interesting Pokemon. Extremely undervalued. Very, very good into certain matchups. It is basically a Life Orb Garchomp is the best way to put it. Before we had the Life Orb and, you know, Charizards thought they were safe, the thing that proved that they were not safe was the occasional Mega Garchomp, and I think it's still there. I might throw it down to B+, just for the sake of, like, aesthetically pleasing takes, and also just because, yeah, it's probably a little bit more fair than A, right? But, yeah, I think that Mega Garchomp, it's able to just catch people off guard. Like, oh, hey, look, Charizard, I'm safe. I can eat this Rock Slide. No, you can't. My attack stat is 170 or whatever it is. What is Mega Garchomp's attack stat? I always forget this one. Yeah, 170. And that bulk is ridiculous. Oh my god. Yeah, it's a good Pokemon. It is an absolute mess of stats. Lucario. Pretty okay. Not incredible. I think that it, like... It doesn't really do anything great. I'm going to just throw it next to, like, Mawile. Not Mawile. Like, Medicham. It hits hard. It's pretty fast. It's okay. Does it get... It gets adaptability. Alright, it gets adaptability. Lucario. 145 attack, 140, 120. Yeah, it's, like, fine. You can play it like the Absol, bro. Low-key, you play it like the Absol. You have Ice Punch and you have Rock Slide. There you go. Same case, but like better typing. Gallade. Not incredible. It's actually pretty fast. I believe it's 110. Yeah, it's the fact that base Gallade is just better that is, like, sad about it. Is Mega Gallade still strong? Yeah, 165, 110, 115, 95. Psychic Fighting. It's an interesting Pokemon, but it's nothing, like, super special. It's going to go into C tier. Probably, like, here. Ah, it doesn't bring anything to the table. It's bottom. That seems right. Yeah, right where I put it originally. Emboar. Ah! Base Emboar's better. That's the sad part. Yeah, base Emboar hits harder. It hits harder. It plays better under Trick Room. Base Emboar's just better than this. It's really sad. I'll throw you up here, actually. I think Exploding is actually kind of a cool niche lately. All right, we're getting to the end of things. We have 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's like 20 something left. Okay. Ow. It's a lot still. Excadrill. It's okay. It's like a B tier. Maybe, probably like top of B tier. I'm going to put it with the rest of the steel types. It's untapped potential. There are certain matchups it can come to. For the most part, though, it's probably not going to be a sand Pokemon. I think that, like, base Excadrill works well on sand. I think Mega Excadrill probably works well on balance. It's because of the high speed, the decent bulk, and the access to a speed tier higher than Garchomp, which is really cool. 103 is pretty nice. And just hitting through Protect with Iron Head. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Scrafty. Extremely undervalued. It's going in Trick Room tier. It's going in Trick Room tier. Yeah, these are the Trick Room Pokemon. Behold. I'll put it in B. I'll put it in B. I think it's still above Charizard. It's a Trick Room enabler. It basically plays like Scovillain, but for Trick Room teams. It's a Mega Pokemon that's meant to sit on the field and be annoying while other Pokemon take all the credit, you know. It does have good damage output with Knockoff in close combat, but for the most part, it's Fake Out, Double Intimidate, save the Sylveon. The best way to... Sylveon and Scrafty, they're a package deal. They're a package deal. Same with Torkoal. Ah, this guy makes me mad. If Inconsistency were a Pokemon, I'm going to throw you down here, actually. If Inconsistency were a Pokemon, it'd be named Scolipede. It needs to run Gunk Shot to one-shot Floette. It has to Protect to outspeed things after it Megas. And it has to invest in speed, meaning that it can't be as bulky as you want it to. Does it work on Trick Room? Maybe. Can it Swords Dance? Maybe. But it's really hard to even get into a position where it can do those things. Has to run Rock Slide to not lose to Fire types. Wants to run Leech Life so it doesn't just get annihilated after a single Swords Dance. And has Recovery and hits hard. It's got 4 move slot syndrome. It wants to protect and attack at the same time. It's really stepping on its own toes, is the best way to put it. Mega Scolipede's very disappointing. As someone who really loves Scolipede, I find it extremely disappointing. Chandelure. It's going in C tier. It's fine. It's a Tailwind. It's a Tailwind Heat Wave kind of guy. We'll put him, like, here. He's got more direction than, like, anything else in the tier. Golurk. It's not going in Trick Room tier. B minus. Only good in Trick Room tier. Only good on Trick Room tier. Yeah, we'll put him there. I think that Electros is interesting. I don't think it's great. I think it's like a C+. It's like a C+, yeah. It hits hard. It has like a ton of cool things going for it, but it's like not incredible. Ah, man, I wish this thing was good. It's C tier, maybe even C minus. Mega Chestnut just has no matchups. It feels like it has no matchups it comes to. Is it usable? Yeah. Body Press, Iron Defense, Leech Seed, yes. But like the metagame is so threatening to it. Basculegion can just tear through the defenses if you don't have Iron Defenses up. Sneasler can just Dire Claw you and hit you for super effective damage. You don't one-shot it back. Poison you, sleep you, paralyze you, one thing or another. A lot of things go wrong with it. Charizard, Aerodactyl, Sylveon, everything just hits you, man. It sucks. All right. This thing is going into A+ tier. I think above I'm gonna say above Aerodactyl, but below Frostlass. I think that what Delphox brings to the table is impressive. High speed, high special attack stat, and Earthquake immunity. Very similar to Charizard, but it sacrifices immediate high damage with Sun for that speed. And because of that speed, it has better matchups into stuff like Gengar, it has better matchups into stuff like Floette. You can Calm Mind boost, which Charizard can't do. You can Nasty Plot, which Charizard can't do. And it has better matchup into stuff like Frostlass. I think that you could even make the argument that maybe Delphox should be top of A+ tier, but I think that it's just a little bit worse than Frostlass, just because Frostlass is, I think Frostlass is definitively the second best team in format, is the way I look at it. Okay. Pyroar. Speaking of which, Pyroar I'm going to put like top of B+. It's interesting. It's fine, right? I'll put it below Venusaur and above Blastoise. Pyroar is interesting. Effectively, Pyroar, Delphox, and Charizard are the same Pokemon with different stats. Here's how I'll explain it. Charizard is Fox, Delphox is Falco, and Pyroar is Wolf. If you've ever played Smash, that's the best way to describe it. Fundamentally similar characters with definitively different aspects to them. Charizard has the immediate damage, but is frail, has to invest in defenses, and is not as fast as the other two. Delphox, but it's also just the best one, just because of like all the things it brings to the table. Like that Sun is ridiculous. Delphox sacrifices Sun for the potential for higher damage output due to Calm Mind, Nasty Plot, and also has better coverage, and it's just fast, right? Pyroar is the midpoint between these two. It has better bulk than Charizard, and I think also better bulk than Delphox. It's faster than Charizard, but slower than Delphox. But it hypothetically has the best immediate damage if Sun is active due to its ability. Its ability being Fire Main, which allows for it to have a 50% boost in damage from Fire-type moves, which stacked with the Sun means that if Sun is active, this thing hits the hardest immediately. That's the dynamic between them. And there are some pretty successful Pyroar teams. Pyroar is never anyone's first choice, from what I understand, but Pyroar has been very slept on. Very slept on. 19th place, 26th place, 28th place, 56, 63rd, 66. That's like one of the most consistent mega placements that we've seen in this entire thing. So, yeah, Pyroar is good. It is a good Pokemon. Greninja. Oh my god. Greninja, I'm putting at the very bottom of D tier. It cannot do anything. You want to use it as a Blizzard spammer? Use Frostlass. Frostlass is just better. You want to use it as like a Rain Pokemon? You click Dark Pulse turn 1, suddenly it's a terrible Rain Pokemon. If it had Old Protean, it'd be good. But oh my god, this thing just struggles to get anything done. It is contradicting itself turn after turn. It can't do anything consistently. Life Orb Greninja might even be better, I would argue. This thing can't get anything done. It doesn't one-shot anything. It can turn into a rock type and click Rock Slide, I think. Maybe. But then what? You're using a physical Mega Greninja. So, like, if it gets intimidated, it's over. Rock Slide, yeah, okay. 125 attack, not great. 142 speed, incredible. You're a Dragapult at that point. 133 special attack, cool. It only matters. That special attack set only feels like that. It's that high if you have, like, a stab move. And because you're consistently changing which moves are stab moves and which moves are not, it's hard to get this thing to do anything. It's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. It is difficult to get this guy to do anything in a match. All right. Mega Barbarical. It is very C tier. I'm going to say top of C tier for now. Rock Slide, Shell Smash, pretty good. A lot of babysitting required, but it's still quite usable. This thing, it's pretty bad. I'm going to be honest. Beedrill's got better results than everything in this tier. Oh my god. Beedrill's got better results than literally everything in this tier. Mega Meowstic, it's fast and it hits hard, but it doesn't have a good ability. Trace basically means that it's outclassed. Trace means it's outclassed by freaking Mega Alakazam, which is insane to say. I'll put this thing above both of them, though, to be honest. At least these guys can hypothetically do something. There's not even a hypothetical where Greninja can do anything. Yeah, Mega Meowstic just does everything that this thing does, but worse. But with, like, it has a good ability beforehand, so maybe you put it above it, but it's arguable, you know. Dragalge, extremely underrated. Very, very underrated. I would argue that Dragalge sits probably top of C+. I think that Dragalge is quite good. I think Dragalge is quite good. It's very difficult to KO. It's usually partnered with a Sinistcha and an Incineroar and a Grimmsnarl, which that sounds like, oh my god, you're babysitting the heck out of this thing. But it's a secondary Mega. And luckily for you, Incineroar and Sinistcha love playing with Floette. They love Floette as a partner. So you can just run it with that thing. And then, like, the matchup spreads you have between, like, Dragalge and Mega Floette are pretty respectable. Pretty respectable. I think Toxic is the best move on Dragalge, which is really cool. Regenerator lets you pivot in and out. Being able to Toxic things with 100% accuracy is really cool. It just sponges hits from Charizard Y. Does it like hits from Garchomp? No. Can it sponge a hit from Sylveon? Yes. This thing has ridiculous special defense. Let me show you. Dragalge. 163 special defense. 65 HP. Difficult, right? Difficult to have that HP stat and be good. Manages to do it somehow. Can really eat those hits. Yeah, this guy's Mega Malamar's pretty bad. Mega Malamar's pretty bad. It's not as bad as Pidgeot, but it's pretty bad. Oh my god, I missed Mega Autono. That's the worst one. But I'd actually put Pidgeot. No, I'll put Pidgeot below it. Yeah, so Mega Malamar can do the setup stuff, but it takes a lot of work and it's babysat the whole way. And even when you get like 3 superpowers off, your knockoff's still not one-shot anything. Because they said, oh yeah, let's make a Mega Pokemon where its highest attacking stat is 102. Is 102. All of those points went into speed and special defense and nothing else. And I get what they're thinking. It's better at superpowering and doing what it did before, but it doesn't get leftovers, and that sucks. It has to have a Sinistcha next to it, or you're just going to faint immediately. Hawlucha, that is a D tier. That is a D tier, maybe a C-. I think Hawlucha is better than I give it credit for. We'll put it here. Hawlucha is still pretty okay. I mean, like, it has the one gimmick to it. It has the one gimmick to it with, like, the fissure stuff and, like, no guard entrainment. I think that even without that, Hawlucha can still play pretty good. With open natures, it's a lot easier to use quick guard against Sneaslers and stuff. So I'm willing to try Hawlucha out a second time now that there's open natures in the format. But yeah, quick guard, close combat, Brave Bird, good combo moves. Really, really wish it got Tailwind. That's kind of all it needs, to be honest. All right. Oh, you probably run Cross Chop as well instead of close combat. Crabalaminable. Only good in Trick Room. Only good on Trick Room tier. Only good on Trick Room. So you have to respect. But still not great tier. That's what we'll call it. Only good on Trick Room, so you have to respect, but still not great tier. Drampa. I would argue Drampa isn't even that good on Trick Room. Just kind of doesn't bring anything to the table. Scovelin. Incredible Pokemon. I'm going to put Scovelin A tier. I think A tier, A- actually might be more reasonable. Scovelin's very good. Scovelin's great because it can burn everything. It's a good secondary Mega. It's, like, incredible in the Mawile. It's incredible into Swampert. It's incredible into Gyarados. Not Gyarados. Metagross. It's incredible into Staraptor. It's incredible into Arrow. It's incredible into Tyranitar. If there's a physical Pokemon on the field that is a threat, you bring that Scovelin and you ruin their whole matchup. And then you just play with, like, a Garchomp and a Basculegion and a Sneasler and a Kingambit. Basically, what you're saying is, you have a Mega and I have a Mega. My Mega's purpose is to ruin your Mega's entire time. I'm going to redirect moves. I'm going to Swords Dance with my Black Glasses Kingambit, and I'm going to win this match because you effectively don't get the Mega if they're a physical attacker. You also just nerf every physical attacker in the game, and it's a heavily physical metagame right now, so yeah. I'm going to put this guy in C-, probably above Chestnut, or above Altaria. No, below Altaria. I'll put it below Altaria. It's interesting. It gets no retreat. It's just a buffed up Phalanx, and to be honest, if that's all it is, it's not like great. Finally, Glamora. One of the Pokemon I think is pretty hard to tier, but I'm gonna say that Glamora sits pretty comfortably right here-ish. Yeah. Honestly, you know what I might do? I'm gonna do this. I think it just makes sense to throw it here. Time to swap. Beep. 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 And beep. 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 There you go. Yeah, it makes sense for that to be C+. C+, you know, they're passing the test and they're doing well, but they're not doing incredible. Yeah. I think this is a okay. I'm not going to spend any more time on this. This took forever. I've been recording for an hour and a half. Oh my god. This is supposed to be a quick video before I get to work on other stuff today, but yeah, this seems good enough to me. If you want to like only look at what matters, just look at S to B+. Everything B and below low-key doesn't matter that much. But yeah, if you want to stop paying attention at C+ and below, that's where things are like more just kind of vibes based. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think I have to move some of these down, frankly. I think I'm giving them a little too much credit. Yeah, okay, there. I'll stick with that. That's fine. Not touching it anymore. This is my tier list. I don't know. Just my thoughts. Even if you don't consider this a definitive tier list, which you shouldn't. Like, this is just how I feel about the metagame right now. At the very least, I can educate you about the Pokemon in the game. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.